So I normally start out by asking, what is your name and what do you do?
Okay. My name is Christopher Kaufman, and I'm the Executive Director for RE12 Community Center here in Burlington.
And what is RE12?
RE12 is the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, and Queer Community Center. We have a space, a building that's available for community groups to use and rent out. We also have our own programs that really focus on health and wellness. So we have an HIV prevention program and a tobacco cessation program. We provide a lot of health and wellness resources and training to doctors that are looking to serve LGBT patients better. We also have an elders project that is working on identifying the needs of LGBT seniors in rural communities in Vermont. And we just completed an oral history project with elders called the Dialogue Project, where we had youth ask elders questions about what it was like growing up in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s as a gay person in Vermont. So we have a lot of different things that sort of happen here.
Yeah, wow.
And we've been around for about, we're going into our 8th year. We're founded by college students from the University of Vermont.
Cool. What's on your plate right now? What are you working on?
Let's see. I guess some of our biggest things that we're working on right now is the Queer Elders Project. We're going to be releasing a report sometime in the summertime, probably around Pride, about elders issues in rural communities. We're also about to launch an HIV prevention program based in what's called the popular opinion leader model, which is the scientific name. I don't think that's what we'll call it, where we're going to try and change some social norms within a couple of different gay male communities. In Vermont, the Leather community, and there's a group called Vermont Gay Social Alternatives that we're also going to be working with. We have a women's health project called the Nightingale News, which is providing health news for lesbian, bi, and trans women. And we're getting ready for our big annual dinner, which is coming up in about 6 weeks, and that's our biggest event of the year.
Oh,
so
wow.
That's a big project too.
Planning those kind of events are huge.
Yeah, it's always a big thing, and it's sort of our signature thing. We've been doing it now for 8 years, and it just kind of grows and gets bigger every year. This year it has a theme of supporting and honoring elders, and so we're having a speaker from New York City come up, Amber Hollabaugh, who's been one of the key people working with SAGE, which is the National Gay Elders Organization. She also now works for the National Gay and Lesbian Task Force.
Oh, cool. So, how big is your organization?
In what sense?
Well, staff-wise and in membership.
Okay. We have about 1,400 people on our membership list, which is pretty good for a state of 600,000. And we have 6 staff here. 3 of them are part-time and 3 of them are full-time.
Cool. What do you see so far as your biggest success as an organization?
I would say actually a number of things. I think that we've been really good at convening organizations and getting all of the little small grassroots groups in Vermont to work a lot better together. I hesitate to predict this, but I also think a major success is going to happen in the next couple of months, and then we'll have worked successfully with the legislature to include gender identity and expression in the state's non-discrimination laws, which is something that we've been working on for quite a long time. So that's a really big deal. A couple of years ago we also were part of a big coalition that helped to pass a much stronger Safer Schools law in Vermont that helped protect queer kids and children of color from harassment and discrimination.
Cool. What is the gay community like? What is the atmosphere for gay people in Vermont?
I think it really depends on where you are. You know, we're located right in the middle of downtown Burlington, which is a pretty friendly environment, and there's a lot of gay people here. But most of Vermont is very, very rural, and it's still not particularly safe to be out and about when you're out in the rural communities or up in the mountains. I think there's a lot of gay families and gay people that live up in the mountains, but they're not as active, and a lot of folks are sort of constantly looking for ways to connect with other people, but when you come from a town that's 800 people you might find that it's sort of difficult to find other queer people to socialize with. So it really depends on where you are. When we get a lot of calls and we do a lot of referrals for people who want to move here. They often ask us where's the good places in Vermont, and we always tell them Brattleboro, Montpelier, and Burlington, which are sort of the three most progressive towns. But you could move to Rutland and find that it's very conservative and almost maybe 15 or 20 years behind in terms of acceptance and tolerance.
Wow.
So it can really change depending on where you are.
It's funny because more places I go, it's just like that everywhere. I mean, you go and you have, no matter what state you're in, it could be a progressive state like Massachusetts, you have pockets of Massachusetts that are very conservative.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's definitely true here as well, although it's been really interesting in doing our work on the gender identity bill in the legislature that, we've been organizing on it for about 3 years now, and we always expected that eventually there would be some opposition that would come up. And sure, there's people who don't understand trans folks and trans issues all the time, but by and large, even the more conservative legislators have pretty much decided that it's not worth raising a stink about it because people in Vermont are generally against discrimination. And that's how we framed the bill. It's like, are you for discrimination or against discrimination? And we found that we got a lot of more moderate and conservative support than we thought we were going to get.
That's excellent.
Or at least not active opposition, which is not quite the same thing, but it's almost there.
So, if people wanted to know more about your organization, if they wanted, are you a nonprofit?
Yeah.
So you can accept donations? Yep,
we're a 501c3. So we can absolutely accept donations and would love to do so.
And what is your website?
ru12.org.
And people can go there and they can find a way to donate there online.
It just says become a member, and you click on that and there's a little form for you.
Is there anything that, because I'm not from here, is there anything that you think that I haven't asked that's important, or something that people who are watching this would think would be important to know?
Sure. Well, I think one of the really key things to know about RU12 and about us as a community center is that we're part of a much larger movement of community centers around the country. And there's about 150 local community centers all over the country. One of the things that's special about us is that we're a fully staffed community center in a town of 40,000 people. And there's not a whole lot of community centers that are comparable to that. But a lot of states do have centers, and it's important that people support local organizing. We really try and think of our center as being a real engine of LGBT community liberation, we always say. And that local community centers are really serving that function. They're bringing people together, they're reducing isolation, they're helping people to connect, and they're providing a way for people to get involved that might not have the resources to send a $50 check to the Human Rights Campaign or GLAAD, but they really want to get involved on the local level, and a community center is one of the best ways to do that. So there's community centers all over the country, and we encourage people to find their local center. There's a great website, lgbtcenters.org, and you can just plug in your state and find the ones
and
that
have
are
them
in
all
your
there?
state. Yeah.
Oh, cool.